G'day, welcome back to Dad vs Son and our playthrough of Illusions of Glory by GMT Games. We finished the Winter of 1915 turn last video and moved on with the Spring of 15, and we are up to you idiot. Son opening up another game box. That was the farty noise in the background. It wasn't me, trust me. Would I lie to you? Okay, so we're going to go on now with Action 4 for the Allies. Okie dokie. And the Allies roll an event. And we have 2 events open to us. Righto, so the first event is November events, and we can't play that unless Rule Britannia has been played, which it has. But again, this needs us really to have units here in Lemnos, which wouldn't help us at the moment because we can't do, even if we had units here, we can't do any landing sea invasions because we've got U-boats in the Med. Okay, so I'm going to play the other one that I've got, which is Convoy for 1 point, and this gets rid of his bloody U-boats. So, okay, so the first thing we get is we are playing an event. We get 1 war status point, which now takes the total up to 15. We receive 2 replacement points to immediately repair APA units on the map board. We place the convoy marker, so we can do convoys again. And we remove the U-boats in the Med. Right. Oh. So, 2 RPs for APA units. And as much as I hate you losing those RP points, I don't have any AP allied units because Italy gets their own, which is good, but sucky at the moment. So I lose those bits. Okay, so we're over to the Central Powers, and they have a C, which they have Rasputin. So they can play this card, Rasputin, for either 3 ops points, or they can use it for the event where we have -1 Russian national will, or replacement points, but we can't use the German, so it'd be 1 Austria-Hungarian point. So we're going to use it for the event. And the Russians lose 1 national will. So we go down to 12. And we're back to the Allies. And we have an event. And we only have 1 event and we can't really use it. So we're going to use this card, the November events card. Now, do I want to use it for 1 Russian replacement point, which should be handy, or 2 ops points? And I'm going to go for 2 ops points. Okay. And now what am I going to do with them? I hear you ask. And what I think I am going to do is I'm going to put an attack in with the Italians. So I'm going to activate these two stacks here, and we're going to try and take out this little Austro-Hungarian mountain infantry unit. Okay, so let's bring the Macons over again. There we go. Okay, so first up we have 3, 6, 9, 10 attack points at the moment, and they have a whole 2 on the small light table. Now we're attacking across the mountain, so it's a minus. It's a left shift for us. We're down to the 8, 9 now. We're also attacking across roads, so it's a -1 for us. And because they happen to be a mountain unit, they get a +1. And we get a +1 for our mountain unit, which gets rid of our negative modifiers. So we're square, and they get a +1. Now, I have no combat card on the Allies side to play. There is one combat card on the Central Powers, which is wireless intercepts. And they are going to use it like that. And it is if any AP attack includes a Russian... Oh, sorry, it doesn't. Oh, there's no Russian LCU. They're not going to use it because all we have is Italians. So forget about that. So we'll roll up, and the Austro-Hungarians get a +1 on their die roll. Okay. So they had a 3, which becomes a 4. So they're going to do 1 damage to us. And we had a 1... and we're going to do a whole 3 damage to them. Okay, so we do 2 damage to them, and we cannot do any more. They do 1 damage to us, but none of our units are at a 1. Okay, so they're also in mountainous terrain, which means they can do the option to take another reduction of this mountain unit so they don't have to retreat. But I think that's pretty silly on their behalf, so they're going to retreat the 1. They have to retreat 2, don't they? Da, da, da. That's okay, they're going to retreat 2 then. So they'll go 1, and they'll go 2 over here to Pergine, something like that. And we will advance with these 2, these 2 cores. And we'll also advance with one core into Roverito. Sorry. Again, I don't do Italian very well. Okay. And that's the end of the Allied turn. And we're up to the 5th action now for Central Powers. And they get a DE. So that's their wireless intercept card and German reinforcements. Cannot be played as a reinforcement before fall of 1915. So they can't use it for reinforcements. So they can use it for 2 ops points. Or they can use the wireless intercept card for 4 ops points. Or they can use it for replacement points and CP allies, of which there is only the Turks, who haven't lost anything yet. Austria-Hungarian get 2 replacement points, which make them in Pretty handy for them. And there's 3 German replacement points that they can't take. So 2 ops points, 4 ops points with, or 2 Austro-Hungarian replacement points is what it comes down to. So what do they want to do? Now what they would like to do is to get 4 corps in here to Gorizia. Which would be very handy. So if we used ops points, that would be 1. I think they're about ready to do an attack into Belgrade. So that could be for 2. And I don't think they really want to do too much extra at the moment. So we're going to use the German reinforcement card for its 2 ops points. And as we said, what we're going to do is look at moving 4 corps. And we're going to look at doing an attack into Belgrade. Righty-o. So movement first as usual. So 4 corps is going to go 1, 2 into Gorizia. Or words that affect, Your Honour. And then we're going to do the attack into Belgrade. So again, bring the Macons over. Okay, so Austro-Hungarians have 6, 9, so they're on the 8, 9. They're attacking into Belgrade, which is a fort, but nobody is attacking across the water, so that has nothing to do with it. So they have 2, 4, 5, and the fort value of 1, so they have 6. So they're on the 6, 7. Again, the Allies have no combat card that can be used. The Central Powers have no combat card that can be used. And we have no other dice roll modifiers. So that's it. Okay, so we have a 6 against a 9. And we roll up, and the Allies get a 6, which is 5 damage. And the Central Powers get a 4, which is 5 damage as well. Okay, so let's have a look first at these poor little people. And we have 3rd Army will go 2. And 1st Army will go for 2, and the cavalry will go for 1, and that's our 5. And then the Austro-Hungarians will go 2 for 15 corps, and 2 for 8 corps, which is the max they can lose is 4, so therefore we have to take 1 more hit, so we'll get rid of the Serbian cavalry unit. And the 1 more hit was so that we don't have to retreat, seeing as we have nowhere to retreat to. Walkly dogly. So that was their 5th for ops. And then the last action for the Allies is an E, which is interesting because we do not have any cards turned over. Dun, 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 which means we get to turn over cards A and B. And we have 1 combat card, which is the massed cavalry charge. and we have Polivanov. Now, we will play Massed Cavalry Charge for its replacement value, because it is the lowest ops card that we've got, 4 against 5. Because I don't want to play the event. Okay, so we get 2 APA. We get 2 Italian replacement points. And we get 3 Russian replacement points. So there we go. Okay, and now the final action for the Central Powers, and they get a C, and their C is a combat card. So they can use it for the 3 ops points, or effectively they can get 1 Austro-Hungarian replacement point. So what do they want to do? Now they could try and punch into Belgrade again. They've got 7, and this time it'd be 7 against 3, so greater than 2-1 odds. So I think that's what they're going to do. They'll play this card for its ops value of 3. And again, they're going to attack from Kragalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalagalag That, oh, I forgot they've got to use double ops points, so that's 2. So yeah, I've let them get away with a bit of stuff. Again, apologies. My Conrad card says for the rest of this turn, activation of any space or stack containing an Austro-Hungarian LCU costs +1 ops. So when I moved this bloke, I probably didn't have the ops points to do it. But that's okay. So this is now 2 ops points out of 3 that we have. So the other thing I am going to... No, I'm not. The other thing I am going to do is what? I don't know. I don't know. Okay, what I'm going to do is move one of these mountain units. So I'm going to take him. Mountain unit? No, I'm not. I'm going to take the infantry unit and go 1, 2, 3 into Trent to help to bolster there. And now we'll do our attack as per usual. Okay, so the Austro-Hungarians have 2, 4, 6. So they're on the 6, 7. And the Serbs have 3. The Allies do not have a combat card to use. The Central Powers have 1 combat card, but there's no Russians in there, so nope, doesn't make any difference. So it's a straight roll up, the 6, 7 column against the 3 column. And the Allies get 3, which is 4 damage. And the Germans get a 4, which is 3 damage. Germans, duh. The Serbs. Okay, so if we do 4 damage against the Serbs, that wipes them out. Let's see, that's 2. I just lost it. I know it went somewhere, but I don't know where. I'll find it in a moment. So they get 2, 3, 4. And the Austro-Hungarians take 3. And they have 2, 4. So they can take 2 there and nothing there. So they have to get rid of one of these units. They don't have any choice in the matter. So 15 core goes away for 2, and then they take 1 hit on the SCU. And then we have to take a hit because we can't retreat. So 3rd Army goes as well, and we get this unit, which goes in there. I think that's right. Okay. So the Serbs have lost their 1st, 2nd and 3rd armies. All they have left is Belgrade with 1 SCU. And they can't actually put any replacements out or anything like that. It's a pain in the bottom. Okay. So we're all done with the actions. So we're back over to the end, or the rest of the turn phase. So attrition phase, again, we have nobody attrited. I will do a check at the end of this to make sure that since we have no LCU in Serbia anymore, whether Serbia actually does fall. But for the moment, I'll leave it there. Sieges, we have no sieges. We finished that siege. In fact, no, I need to check it now because that could be a siege. So I'm just going to pause this for it to check, and I will make sure. Okie dokie, sorry about that. Okay, so Serbian collapse. Serbia collapses if there are no Serbian large combat units in Serbia or Montenegro. So it does. So Serbia collapses. Serbian and Montenegro units that can trace a supply line to Belgrade or Cetinje, or can trace a supply line to Lemnos, remain on the map board. Well, I have traced a line to Belgrade, but all other units are removed. Only Serbian units in Lemnos can receive replacement points until the Serbs return. Destroyed Serbian units in the replaceable box cannot be rebuilt until the Serbs return. So, effectively, Serbia collapses because there are no LCUs. If it collapses, that unit can remain on the board. Okay, so yeah, Serbia has collapsed. which is really sucky. That's the only effect it has. So Serbia has collapsed. These units can now attack into and move into Serbia. But we're still holding this at the moment. So automatic victory, no. Armistice, no. War commitment levels, we're still only on limited. National collapse, well, yeah, Serbia collapsed, we know that. There's no rebellions or revolutions. Replacement phase, okay, so the only replacements we have at this time are 2 Allied replacements, and we cannot do anything with those at all. So one of them goes to the Russians. We have 2 Italian replacements. Okay. So at the moment, we have a half and a half, and that's it. So we're going to use 1 replacement point to reconstitute these 2 mountain units. And that is that. The other one is wasted. And now we have 4 Russian replacement points. Okay. 4 Russian replacement points. So we replaced that, we did that, we've got a half there. And we have Buggerolski anywhere else? Yep. Okay. So we have a half point there. And we'll get this cavalry unit back. So that's 1 point. 1.5. 2. 2.5 points. And that's that. Righto. We'll now put the German replacement point marker up onto the 1 because no, we won't. We'll just take it off the board at the moment. Sorry, getting ahead of myself, playing the fool. Okay, so the Turks did not complete their offensive as required. So I just do a quick check, but I'm pretty sure they lose a replacement point for that. Page 11. At least 1 Turkish unit must attack an AP unit this turn if Bulgaria has entered the war. If it's neutral or there are no AP units, okay, so no, they didn't have to do it. So it doesn't matter. That was easy. Right. Oh, so we've done that. Replacement strategy cards. Okay, so we have no combat card for the Allies. We have 1 combat card for the Central Powers. On an odd number it'll stay, even it'll go. It's a 2. So their wireless card goes back into the reshuffles. Okay, then we have draw cards. Done. Reshuffle. Okay, so we will reshuffle the decks. There they are. And the Allies. Done. And end of turn. So we'll be going on to the summer of 1915. So now anytime we enter marsh type areas, we end up with fighting in marsh-like areas, we end up with a negative modifier. Swamps, they call it, sorry. So this is basically a severe weather modifier. So again, offensive fire, one shift to the left. Righto, final thing so I don't forget is the first thing for the next turn, which is the mandatory offensives. And it's a +1 for both sides. So the Allies ended up with 3, becomes a 4, which is Britain, France. So nothing happens. But I will check that and make sure. And the Germans have a 5, which becomes a 6, which is Austria-Hungary must attack Italy. And that's that. So I will have a check again, make sure I'm doing this right, and we will come back next turn, turn 5, for the summer of 1915. Thank you so much again for watching. Thank you for support. Again, I hope you're still enjoying mistakes, fumbles, foibles and all, and I will catch you next time. Bye for now.